I'm going to show you something so terrible that it made me lose sleep for 3 weeks straight. A 2,000-year-old book that reveals the real reason why certain families control all the world's wealth, why they're obsessed with genetics, and why they want to reduce the global population by 90%. They're not human. They never were. And the proof has been hiding in plain sight since 300 BC. What you're about to learn will make you question everyone in power, every major corporation, every government decision. Because the Book of Jubilees doesn't just predict the future, it reveals that our present is being controlled by the descendants of giants. And they remember what happened the last time God tried to wipe them out. Before the flood, before Noah, before civilization as we know it, the earth belonged to them, the Nephilim. Hybrids created when 200 of God's most powerful angels defied heaven itself for human women. The Book of Jubilees gives us their exact genealogy. Zemjaza's children became the rulers of the earth. Azazel's offspring mastered warfare and metallurgy. Barakel's descendants controlled the stars and seasons. But here's what Sunday school never taught you. These weren't just big people, they were genetic abominations. The book describes them as consuming the labor of all the sons of men. And when that wasn't enough, they started eating humans, giants that stood 450 feet tall, with 6 fingers, double rows of teeth, and supernatural strength. They ruled through terror, cannibalism, and advanced technology that the fallen angels had taught them. And when God saw what they had done to his creation, he didn't just flood the earth, he declared eternal war on their bloodline. But here's where the Book of Jubilees reveals something terrifying. The flood didn't kill them all. It couldn't. Because some of the Nephilim women were already pregnant with Noah's sons. The book specifically mentions that Ham's wife was descended from the Nephilim. That's why when Ham's son Canaan was born, Noah cursed him, because Noah knew what that bloodline would do to the world. After the flood, these hybrid bloodlines scattered across the earth. The book traces them to Babylon, Egypt, Canaan, and eventually to the families that would build the greatest empires in human history. But they learned from their ancestors' mistake. Instead of ruling through brute force and cannibalism, they would control through deception, through banking, through media, through religion, through science. The Book of Jubilees predicts that in the end times, the Nephilim bloodlines would return to power, that they would use technology to resurrect the same forbidden knowledge that corrupted the antediluvian world. Look around. Genetic engineering, artificial intelligence, transhumanism, space exploration, weather manipulation. Does this sound familiar? I spent months cross-referencing the genealogies in the Book of Jubilees with modern family trees. What I found will shock you. The Rothschild family crest features 5 arrows, the same symbol used by the Nephilim rulers of ancient Babylon. The Rockefeller family fortune was built on oil, and the Book of Jubilees specifically states that Azazel taught humans to extract the treasures of the earth. But it gets worse. These families aren't just wealthy, they're obsessed with genetics. The Rockefeller Foundation funded eugenics research. The Rothschilds financed the Human Genome Project. Bill Gates talks openly about population reduction. Why? Because they remember. They remember what happened when their ancestors' genetic corruption became too widespread. They remember the flood, and they're trying to prevent it from happening again. The COVID vaccines, the fertility decline, the push for digital IDs. It's not about control, it's about survival. They're trying to eliminate the pure human bloodlines before God judges them again. The Book of Jubilees predicts that in the final Jubilee, the Nephilim will attempt to corrupt all flesh, just like their ancestors did. And we're living through that corruption right now. In 2010, scientists discovered that some humans carry anomalous DNA sequences that don't match any known primate evolution. Guess which families funded that research? The Book of Jubilees describes the Nephilim as having different blood, blood that gave them extended lifespans, supernatural intelligence, and the ability to communicate with non-human entities. What if I told you that certain elite families have been practicing selective breeding for millennia to preserve these genetic markers? That the old money families aren't just wealthy, they're genetically different. The book states that in the end times, the Nephilim would reveal themselves. They would stop hiding behind human institutions and openly claim their dominion over the earth. Look at the World Economic Forum. Look at the UN Agenda 2030. Look at the push for transhumanism. They're not trying to improve humanity. They're trying to replace it. Because the Book of Jubilees reveals the final truth. The war between the seed of the woman and the seed of the serpent never ended. It just went underground. The book operates on precise 49-year cycles. We're currently in year 5995 since creation. That means we have 5 years before the completion of the 6,000-year cycle. But here's the terrifying part. The Book of Jubilees predicts that in the final years, the Nephilim Bloodlines will make their move. They'll attempt to corrupt human DNA through technology, create AI consciousness, and establish a one-world government. Everything happening right now, the pandemic, the digital currency, the climate agenda, the space race, it's all connected. It's all been planned for thousands of years. I have the genealogical charts. I have the genetic evidence. I have the timeline calculations, and I'm going to expose everything. The names, the bloodlines, the locations where they meet, the dates of their major moves. It's all documented in the Book of Jubilees. And when you see the full picture, you'll understand why they've been trying to suppress this book for 2,000 years. They're monitoring everything. They know who's waking up. Subscribe to my channel right now. Share this video with everyone you know and prepare for the most explosive investigation in human history. Because the Nephilim aren't coming back. They never left. They just learned to hide behind human faces. The bloodline war continues, and humanity is losing. Subscribe for more.